That was the craziest moment in pickleball history.
Still to this day, one of the craziest matches I've ever seen.
It is the fastest growing sport in the country, potentially the world.
I think it really has obviously changed all of our lives.
I think AJ Kohler would rip someone's face off like a silverback ape. And I think that's the beauty of pickleball. It's highly democratized, but you also see yourself getting better literally that first day.
Apparently Dua Lipa's like obsessed with pickleball right now.
Pickleball is the best first date there is.
Pickleballers.
Let's go.
Yo, Jared, what's on your neck there?
Oh, this thing? This is my bronze medal from the PPA Atlanta tournament.
Guys, he won the 2.5 singles division.
Not true. This is from. I'll let Dane say it. He was there.
I was filming the whole thing. It was glorious. I didn't think they had it in them, and I was really worried. They always lose tournaments and they fight, and it's a terrible ride home. So it was really happy vibes.
4.0.
4.0.
Me and Jason Aspis, co-founder of the kitchen.
Yep. Shout out Jason.
UPA, head of the UPA.
The medal game went 3 games, and it was crazy. And then Roscoe actually coached them up before, and we have a good clip.
Blitty, can you pull up the
that
clip?
up?
I'm gonna lose. I want discipline, all right? Yes, sir. I want thirds made. I want clean dinks. I don't want missed returns. Hey, low slice. Hey, most of all, I want positivity out of both of you guys. We've been great, actually. Remember, you guys are friends. You guys love us, actually. Really? I thought Jared was a 3.6 before he started. I think he's like a 4.2 now. He won the 4.
Actually,
Jason's like a 4.7.
After the tournament, I literally asked Roscoe. He said I was a 4.5. I don't know why he won't give me any credit right now, but I will say, shout out to the PPA. This medal's nice and thick and heavy. I'm actually gonna take it off because it's making me sweat. It's so
We got to make some medals like that for our tournaments.
Yeah. Kitchen Open coming up.
All jokes aside, I am proud of you. I thought you were very, very consistent under pressure, which is something that I think a lot of like amateurs struggle with, like when they're under pressure, like making the right decisions. Jason, on the other hand, I mean, he's super flashy.
He's like a deranged rat kind of out there a little bit.
He'll hit 5 of the most amazing shots in a row, and then he'll just surprise you with like the dumbest decisions.
I'll say this. I was watching Ben Johns play this weekend, and I typically go out there, and I'm pretty affected, and I did almost get kicked out of the tournament in the final game because I dropped 3 F-bombs. But up until that point, I really kept it together, and I'm telling you, I was watching how cerebral and calm Ben was, and up until that moment, whenever I'd hit an unforced error, I would just center myself, and it made the world of difference. We lost the bronze medal match, the second game, 11-1.
Oh, wow.
I was terrible. We got destroyed. And we went in, and I
really bad.
It was terrible. I forgot how to play pickleball. But the third game, I was a beast, and it was shout out to Ben. I really went out there and I said, I'm winning this medal. I've gotten close before. I think I played 5 or 6 tournaments, and honestly, I didn't think that it would matter to me. We almost withdrew the tournament that day because it was the rain delay, but I can't tell you how happy I was to walk away with some hardware. So
I'm really glad y'all won.
I love how he links like his 4-0 win to Ben Johns and acts like they like had some like connection there that like made him win.
We did. He looked at me at one point when he was beating Christian Alshon, and it was that look he gave me.
He winked at you.
He winked at me.
He's like, take this energy with you.
And he's like my Yoda.
He's a little younger than Yoda. I think Yoda's like what?
Yoga.
Like, yoga. I do yoga. Do you do yoga?
I don't know. But no, I'm really stoked to finally have a medal that I earned. So.
You were good, man. You were good. I'm not gonna lie. I think you've gotten better.
Thank you.
The second game, me and Ross were like, "Oh, these guys are gonna whoop their ass." But
I love how
you guys beat them
during this whole process too. The men's semifinals going on. JW Johnson, CJ Klinger versus Deckel and Dylan Frazier, and everyone is watching this pro match here, and we're off to the side courts filming Jared's.
I'm filming
4-0
each point, and it's like, oh, is this gonna be a good one? Okay, no delete. Okay, no delete.
Hey, how about the guy almost killing you on the forehand drive? This ball whizzed past Jared's ear. It was a forehand drive. It hit the top.
Destroyed the ball.
It hit the top.
The top. That highlight up.
Hit like the top part of the back fence.
It's crazy.
Give a little intro to my journey, first of all, and how I got into pickleball. So I grew up in a tennis family. I'm one of 4 boys, as you guys know.
He was #1 in the world growing up.
Yeah, number 1 in the nation as a tennis player, and I kind of
nation or the world?
Nation.
Okay, #1 in the nation.
12s, 14s, and it was like my life. Like I was literally born into tennis, and I started when I was 5 years old. We owned a tennis center, and I
Were
would
you
just
homeschooled?
I was homeschooled.
His dad
yeah.
started tennis channel.
My dad started the tennis
Beth
channel.
was number 1 at one point.
My mom was a pro tennis player, not number 1, but I
Okay.
think she was top 20.
I've told so many people she was number 1 in the world.
Fake news, baby, fake news.
Okay.
And yeah, so I felt like my identity was kind of tennis. You know, I was homeschooled for tennis, and it was kind of like there was no other option other than to be a pro tennis player. And then all of a sudden, when I was 15 years old, I started dealing with these injuries that just would not go away. First thing that happened when I was 15, I was number 1 in the nation at the time. Was I had a back fracture that literally lasted 3 years.
You broke your back.
How
broke
did that,
my back.
How'd that happen? Just
I don't know. I think it was just growing really fast, and I saw
He's tall.
I saw at least 10
How
different
tall are you?
doctors. I'm 6'5".
6'5".
6'5". People go back and forth. 6'6", 6'4". I say 6'5".
Okay.
And then yeah, so I went to UCLA for tennis because my accolades when I was younger still got me into UCLA. I played there, didn't do as well as I'd liked. Still dealt with injuries. I had 2 hip surgeries in college, and it was this kind of thing I was battling for a while. And then my mom started playing pickleball, so she wanted to do
She's a
something
beast.
social. Yeah, she was the number 1 senior pro in the world. Pickleball, like I think she still is. She doesn't play as many tournaments. But she was like, Roscoe, there's so much opportunity in this sport, and you're trying to go out there and play futures for tennis. Like, just check out pickleball. Like, you can play a little bit, and then if you don't like it,
But you
go
were
back
done
to
with tennis at that time,
No,
right?
I wasn't done with tennis.
wow,
I was
I didn't know
I was planning to go play futures in like the middle of nowhere and try and pursue this dream that had kind of drifted away from me.
How old
And
were you?
I was 22, so I just finished college, and yeah, I was gonna go play some futures.
Let me ask-
That wasn't that long ago. That's crazy.
No,
You're
I'm
only
25
now.
now.
Let me ask you
Wow.
something. Was
Yeah.
there a, like, you're a humble guy, but did you think at one point that you were going to be the next great American tennis player? Like, was that what people were betting on you to be?
When I was younger, for sure. Like, I didn't think I was gonna go to college, but
That's crazy.
I think it's such a young age that stuff really doesn't like matter until you're,
Until you do
there's so
it.
much time. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so much time in between that. But it was like my dream. Like, I never pictured myself doing anything else. My mom was like, you should try pickleball. She kept telling me this for 6 months, and I hopped on the pickleball court for like 10 minutes with them, and I swear it was 10 minutes, and I was literally hooked. I was
Were
like,
you good right away?
no, I was bad. I was like, there's no way I'm losing to people in a racket sport. You just feel this like confidence because I'd played my whole life, and I was just getting my ass handed to me, and it was very, very humbling, honestly. February 2023 came around, and Matt Manassi hit me up, and he was like, yo, there's a tournament in Florida, $10,000 to the winner. Also, the winners get to play Agassi and rowdy. So it was the Pickleball Slam on ESPN that they were doing, and they had an amateur event. And I was like,
which we helped promote that year.
yeah, so the kitchen helped promote it, and this will actually, you'll see this is where I meet Jared. But so I play this tournament. We win that tournament. We get to play Agassi and rowdy in the finals. And my first thought was like, this is my first pickleball tournament. I just won 10 grand, and I get to play Agassi and rowdy in the finals. Like, I've never done anything like this in tennis. Like, this is so unique. And so that basically got me to keep playing, and now here we are. It's what I do full time. It's why I'm doing this podcast.
What year was that?
This is 2023 when I first started, so now we're 2025.
Oh,
Been
wow.
playing for about 2 years.
And we actually, I think, was it the night before that we went to dinner in Delray, or was it the night after the tournament?
So this is when you and Matt were friends. There's been a lot that's happened before then, or after then. And
shout out Pickleball McNasty.
I love Pickleball
Still have a lot of
McNasty.
love for him, but we did a lot of work together. I mean,
Yeah.
he was kind of the face of the kitchen for a while, and
Yeah.
we all went our separate ways. We still see him, nothing but love.
Matt brought me to dinner with Jared, and I kind of met this guy, and then I remember it was the last day of the Pickleball Slam. We're in the casino, so it was at the Hard Rock Casino in Florida, Hollywood, Florida, and I'm like listening, like I'm like walking through the casino, and I hear this guy yelling, "Too many!" And I was
Too
like,
many!
Yeah, too many. It's Ryan Sherry. He's at a casino at a blackjack table with Sam Querrey. It was Ryan, Sam Querrey, and a few other guys.
Wasn't his partner from the Gators there?
Brandon?
Yeah, Brandon.
Yeah,
Seiler?
I think I think
Brandon
so.
Seiler. Shout out
NFL
Gators.
player, and I was like, "What is going on?" So I walked behind this table just to kind of see what they were doing, and Jared was standing there. He was just telling me jokes the whole time, and I was like, "This guy's hilarious."
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
believe it
I
or
definitely
not.
wasn't there yet.
You weren't there.
Yeah.
I think Jared and I have literally talked every day since, and it was like the start of a great relationship. We were watching all these guys gamble, and then
of course, I was getting into pro pickleball. Jared was a great guy to know, and he just kind of like mentored me through the whole thing. So
At one point, I did say publicly across the kitchen channels that Roscoe Bellamy was the future #1 pickleball player.
I mean, we were
I
like,
still got time.
We were
Still
like
got
3 years
I
in.
think you're still going to
Yeah.
get there, but I think I believed that, and I
Yeah.
still believe it, and I think it was just wild. Like I don't know. I think from that first moment, I was like, this guy's the real deal.
We've just had a really good friendship since then, and I've learned a lot about the kitchen and kind of what you guys did to start this insane company that now is the biggest community in all of pickleball. I think that would be an interesting thing to talk about right now. Like, how did the kitchen start? You meeting Dane, you meeting Jason, and kind of like, how did you get into pickleball?
Well, it's crazy because like when he met you, we were already 3 years in. Like we started June 2020.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, that's insane.
We weren't 3 years. Yeah,
It was June 2020.
probably like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so I've been working with Dane every day for the past 8 years. God bless his soul.
Crazy.
Jeez.
It's crazy we haven't
a
killed each
strong
other
man.
yet.
Almost killed each other like 5 times. Yeah, so I come from a community building, marketing, relationship building background from Atlanta, Georgia. Lived in New York, went to University of Florida. Then I was out in the Bay Area for about 15 years. I left my job when I turned 30 to create a nonprofit, which kind of transitioned my career from sales into community building, and we built this big volunteer base on Facebook. And then music's like my original religion. Pickleball is now my religion, but I started this music blog, and just before that, I actually met Dane at Coachella, totally randomly. I was about to get married. Dane was like, I think we were about to go see Guns N' Roses. He'd never seen it. And
I was only like 25.
we met like super briefly. And then I started this music blog in San Francisco, reached out to the friend of Dane's that actually introduced us. And I said, hey, do you know a developer that can help me create this music blog? I was like 10 years too late on the music blog front. It was a silly idea. But he said, yeah, that guy Dane that you met, he's an engineer.
I was just kind of running around San Francisco, happy to be out of LA on my own, and was a terrible engineer, and I just said yes to everyone.
He
And
foolishly said yes. We
built like the worst website ever.
Yeah, and like that was the funny part is Dane came in and built this blog. And he was like, all right, is it good? And like I'm a perfectionist. I'm OCD for sure, and I'm like, no, this is not good. This doesn't work. And I think that was the first taste where I think my hunch is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think Dane was like, oh wow, this guy's an OCD weirdo, but he's driven, like he wants perfection.
Well, I didn't really know how like startups worked. Like I literally thought I could just build you a website and then I would have equity. And then I would just like go on my own and like go get some more equity from someone else and build another website and like a company,
Then
like
we quickly realized that you really can't make money off of music blogs anymore. You have to own the publishing rights. We went out to LA.
Why is that? Is that because of like Spotify? And
Yeah,
stuff
you
like
have
that?
to pay like millions of dollars to own the rights to the music, and then you can do it. But it just didn't make sense. But at the same time, to market that music blog, I had created these communities that would allow people to buy, sell, and trade concert tickets for free. It's called The Exchange. We're actually selling it if anyone's interested. And that actually became kind of the blueprint for the kitchen. And so with that community, we heavily curated the community so that it was very transactional. So people would go in there and say, oh, what are you wearing at the rave or at EDC or Coachella? We take those posts down. All the investors were like, I don't get it. Like you have these ticket communities, but you have this music blog. Why don't you just do the ticket thing? And Dane actually had said, dude, let's just do the ticket game. And like my music loving kind of soul was like crushed to think about doing that, but it was 100% the right move. And so we shut down the music blog. We raised a round of funding to build a cheaper, more robust StubHub using those communities as kind of the marketing platform. And then literally 3 weeks into that, the entire industry shut down when COVID hit.
we raised like 80% of our round.
90%.
90%.
90% of the round of a $500,000 round, no more concerts.
Were you like on?
I was freaking out. Like, well, it's just like you have the shock of COVID in general, and then you lose. Like,
2.5
it feels
years.
like your company is like just gone, poof. Like, and you've been grinding for 2.5 years. Like, it was terrible.
And I was also
losing my
like,
mind.
I was in the process of having a baby. Like, well, I wasn't having a baby, but Kier was having the baby.
So finances were kind of in.
It was
I guess
it was-
stability would be in the forefront.
It
of your
was
mind.
crazy. And so Dane and I were literally going to Zilker Park and throwing the Frisbee like every other day because we didn't know what else to do.
I was on unemployment. Like, I was like, what is my life going to become? I had no idea.
Yeah.
It was crazy, as was everyone's life crazy during
I
COVID.
love talking about this right now, knowing that you guys have the biggest media company in all of pickleball, and like just at least we know it ends well. You know what I mean?
Well, it's so interesting because we learned so much from our mistakes in the exchange. Like, we did a great job building a community, but when we started the kitchen, we just did it perfectly right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
and I think there's something, Roscoe, we talked about, like when we bring guests on, ask them how they got here. Like literally, how did they get to this chair? And I think it's a really, like to watch the flow of life and synchronicities. COVID actually turned out to be one of the most amazing times of my life.
Yeah.
We got to slow down. I had my only child, Zoe. We went to dinner one night with Matt Napoli, my brother, and this guy, Ryan Shiner. And Matt, who literally is kind of the godfather of the kitchen in a way,
Literally.
was like, hey, let's go play pickleball tomorrow. And we looked at him like, what are you talking
We're like, what
about?
is this? He's like, oh, I'm devoting the rest of my life to pickleball. We're like,
Really?
Oh, he's like a professional rec
He
player.
literally said that. I'm devoting
Does he
the rest
still
of my
play?
life.
Oh yeah, he's great. And,
Yeah, I love
and,
that.
And so he was like, Bolden Acres. Shout out Bolden Acres. They were kind of where we got our start. It was a Saturday night. He said tomorrow morning, Sunday, Bolden Acres. Went there, and I was hooked. And like I haven't been able to compete in a sport since wrestling in high school, and like I wasn't good, but I was able to go out there and quickly learn. And I think that's the beauty of pickleball. It's highly democratized. Anyone can go out and have a great time their first time, but you also see yourself getting better literally that first day.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, why it's such a healthy, positive addiction.
I think the same thing happened to me. It was like the first day I'm like learning all this new stuff, and I already had a racket sports background, but like it is addicting because a lot of times you feel like you know so much about things, and it's like it's easy to get started, super hard to master. I think that is like the hook to pickleball as well.
It's almost like golf too, because it's so frustrating and you just want to keep getting better. And then you think you're good, and then all of a sudden you like suck, and then you're like, oh, I got to keep working hard.
And I think the crazy thing is with Tristan behind us, like I met Tristan, you were what, like 15?
2020, so yeah, like 15,
Like 15
16.
years old. I was, I'm in my 40s, like, and we were out there playing on the same court. Tristan was playing this dude, Emron, who was in his 40s. And then, but there's people in Santa Cruz who are like 70 years old, and everyone's on the court together. And I think that's the beauty of pickleball. That's why it is the fastest growing sport in the country, potentially the world. And I think that's why all of us but Dane are hooked on the sport. but no, so I played pickleball, and then I met Steve Kuhn, who is the founder of Duper, MLP, Dreamland, rest in peace, Dreamland. And I met Tim Klitsch, who is the founder of Austin Pickle Ranch, which actually the MLP this weekend at his club, Austin Pickle Ranch.
That's crazy.
And I had thought if I could create a community, I also wanted to meet people to play with, then I could be of value to them. So I launched Pickleball Austin on Facebook, and I went up to I called Dane. I'm like, hey man, pickleball, like I think it's a thing. I'm going to launch this community. And he's like, I'm out.
Well, I'm just like, dude, we have this other company. We have investors. Like, they're going to be pissed.
And I was like, what do we have to lose? There's no concert. So I ran with it, and it started growing quickly. It went from a couple hundred members to a couple thousand members. And then I launched the kitchen, and I created this cover photo in Microsoft Paint. And it was terrible.
It was the worst thing I've ever seen.
And I was like, Dane, this thing's like picking up steam. And he looked at it, and he's like, oh, dude, like, I got to help you out. I can't let you go to market with that terrible logo.
Yeah.
And he created this amazing cartoon cover photo that we still have elements of in our brand.
Is this the
Yeah.
Pickleball Austin Facebook cover
No,
photo?
it was the kitchen.
We can bring it up.
We'll bring it up. Blitty, can you pull that up? To this day, I think Dane's creativity, Dane's an amazing artist. Check out his Instagram, Dane Iliff or Dane Iliff.
Dane Iliff.
Dane Iliff on Instagram. He's done murals. There's a painting behind us or in front of us in our headquarters. He's done like 4 or 5 murals around the country. Incredible artist. His design eye, which at the time we went to the U.S. Open shortly thereafter, everything was clip art, right?
Yeah.
It was like just really cheesy stuff. And then I think that cover photo set us apart from the other Facebook communities, and we just took off.
It just showed that we cared, right? All these other Facebook communities, like even it was just all clip art, right? And so like we launched with like the main group, and then we did like Pickleball Austin, Pickleball Florida, Pickleball California, and they all had these like crazy cover photos.
Dane made each cover photo. It took him a week.
Yeah, it was just it was just cool because people started joining because they're like, oh, these guys really take it seriously.
Yeah, they like put it, the extra detail goes
and we
a long way.
really did. Like I spent like a week on each one, and I remember the first one I did, I just like I stayed up like all night, just like drawing this like weird.
They're sick. They're still there.
Like I like to do trippy stuff, but I was trying to keep it like rein it in a little bit. But it was just like a kitchen with all these like pickleballs and like dirty pots and pans and like pickleball shoes and pickles, and I just kind of ran with it. And it was awesome. I was so scared to show you because you know, it would have sucked if you didn't like it. And then I remember going to your house and you like loved it.
It really set the foundation for, I think, our brand. And then along with that, from the days of the exchange and the curation, and like Pickleball Forum was the original community, and shout out to them for kind of paving the way for the kitchen. But like, if you went in the Pickleball Forum, there'd be so many posts about what's your favorite paddle, what's your favorite shoe, and it just over and over again. And to me, that wasn't interesting. What was interesting were cool stories, or like pros going in. At the time, it was like Scott Golden and Dane Gingrich. And so I started reaching out to pros. I think the first one that said yes was, I want to say maybe Catherine Parento, but it was really Scott and Dane Gingrich. But then the first like really top pro was Catherine. And so we started having pros come in there and posting content. And we would say, hey, you post your content there. We're going to heavily curate the content. So we're going to shine a brighter light on your brand. And that, I think, was a big differentiator. And to this day, like, we've really tried to, I think attention to detail has been at the center of what we do. And so it's just been this crazy journey.
And this was what, 2019?
2020.
No, this is 20. So we first played June 2020. And then I was kind of on the fence for a couple months. And then so I feel like we started really going hard, like maybe September.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was funny. We just started like partnering with all these people in the space. Like I remember, I don't know how long into it, but it was like, we post this thing like we're partners with PPA, and like I don't know what that even means.
Well,
but
actually, I went up to Connor's house in Utah, and he was like, what is a partnership with like DJ Young? What is that? And I was like, it's just a thing. We just say we're partners. And he was
like, we're friends.
Yeah. And he was like, well, what if I want to be the exclusive pro tour? Because at the time it was APP and PPA.
Yeah.
And we had worked with the APP, and it didn't go great. And that was a huge inflection point for our brand. I went to Connor's house. He was super nice to host me and Taiki from one of these other pickleball brands. And I said, all right, let's do it. And he said, one promise, you can never run a pro tour. And I said, deal. And so Connor took a bet on us, which was big.
Yeah.
And then here we are. Like, now we're 1.5 million cumulative.
Well, I was going to say, this is June 2020. You started in September of 2020. It's 2025. Like, I don't think people realize how big your reach is, how big your audience is, what you have going on. They see you on the kitchen Instagram, but like, it goes way beyond that. Your Facebook group, your newsletter. I mean, TikTok alone.
I think the number that blows my mind the most, and I like am constantly, just like, there's been so many moments in this whole journey. But whenever I go on our Instagram, like, as of a few weeks ago, we reached 70 million people in the last 30 days.
It's crazy. I mean, dude, we've been grinding for a long time. Like, it's crazy. It's 2025 now.
Dude, it all started with your stupid little illustration on the Facebook.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
It started with the music brand, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's just like we've been grinding just on pickleball. Like, I remember we used to go to tournaments and like Dreamland and all these like smaller tournaments, and
like the first MLP.
Just first MLP, and it was like electric, but we were just these like nobodies, like filming highlights, like trying to squeeze into the crowd, like people getting pissed at us, like because we're trying to film. Like, hey, I've been waiting here for 3 hours for a spot, and we're like, sorry.
Crazy story. We went to the US Open in like 2021, and I reached out to them. I was like, hey, we're the kitchen. We have like 9,000 followers. We need a media pass, and they're like, no.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, no. It was the original founders, and so we went, and we somehow snuck into the main tent, and I'm filming the match, and
we're like almost courtside, like a couple rows up.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, we start seeing the security guard looking around.
You're live streaming.
Live streaming. We were live streaming
on our Facebook group.
Yeah, the US Open. It was. I remember the match. It was Ben and Colin versus Jay and Pat.
Oh, it was actually still to this day one of the craziest matches I've ever seen. There was like 100 dinks every point. It was so like crazy.
An amazing match.
OG pickleball for sure.
And so we're filming it, and the security guard starts looking on his phone because he's watching the live stream, and he's looking around like
he's like, someone's live streaming this.
Dude, it was and
we're like hiding it, and he's like
Who was
walking
filming?
past
You or
us in the
Jared?
aisle.
I was filming it.
Yeah, and he's like trying to look for us, and we're like,
and he walked up to me, and I put it down, and he's like looking around.
No way.
And then
crazy.
the next year, the U.S. Open, I think at that point we were like 50,000 cumulative. They gave us a media pass.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, we want you to help promote it. It was just crazy. Like, the whole thing's been completely nuts. We just last month or 2 months ago we were out at Necker Island.
Oh my gosh.
Dane
Freaking
came
nuts.
this year. We've been the second year. Shout out to Necker. Amazing weekend.
Yeah,
If
Casey
you're
Brown, Barry Allen.
killing it. And,
Yeah.
we're out there with Terrell Owens and Drew Brees and Richard Branson. And the year before was Tiffany Haddish and Doug Ellen. Just so many times I've pinched myself on this journey. And, it's hard. We're running a company. There's times where I'm having to pick Dane up. He's having to pick me up. It's really hard, but I feel so grateful and so fortunate, and just that we kind of found pickleball when we did. It's just been.
It's like literally, if someone were to ask me in 2020 or 2019, what would you be doing? Or when I was a kid, literally pickleball would be the last thing I'd ever say.
I think it really has obviously changed all of our lives.
Yeah, and I think the craziest thing is Dane. When I was trying to convince him, he was we went to a tournament. He was dude, he was 26, 27 time. He's like, there's no young people here. He's
I was embarrassed to kind of tell people
Yeah.
what I was doing, and I'd go to tournaments and I would just be like, dude, who are we talking to?
I tell my friends. I went out to Park City and I brought my paddles and I was like, guys, we're gonna play pickleball, and they were like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It sounds so lame. And then this weekend in Atlanta, there's 100 juniors, kids who were typically back when I was growing up were playing pickup basketball or soccer or baseball. They're playing pickleball and they're killing it.
Let's shift gears here and let's talk about PPA Atlanta. We just got back from Atlanta actually, and
Epic tournament.
dude, I think
Might
it
be
was
my favorite.
really.
One of
I think it was honestly one of the best events they've ever put on. In
Shout
terms
out,
of
shout out PPA, Connor Pardo. This is my
Crushing
third
it.
or fourth year in Atlanta, and every year it gets
The whole
better.
production's good. Even the post-game stuff, the interviews are great.
Yeah,
I love that.
They do post game interviews now. I think it's slowly, not slowly, it's rapidly getting to that high professional level. Each time the production's better, and even the media side, like you said, the interviews and just the collaborations they'll do from celebrities there and stuff.
The courts, the amateur courts were way better this year, way more dedicated courts. And I just think it's crazy. In the kitchen, who I love all of y'all. I think you're the best community in pickleball. But people who give the PPA and Connor a hard time, do they do everything right and perfect? No. But they have up-leveled the sport so much, and you just see it. You feel it when you go to these tournaments. And so if you haven't been to a PPA tournament, check it out. It's phenomenal. But this one was as good as any I've seen.
And PPA's always treated us so well. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it, and Connor and his team are great.
Yeah, they're. I mean, as a pro player on the PPA tour,
He's your
I can
boss.
he is my boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but what's funny is he's not that much older than me, so I feel like we do have a connection in terms of I feel like he's my friend.
How
you know
old is
what I
he?
mean?
28?
He's 28, 29. He's a
Insane.
complete
That's crazy.
He has
dude.
four
complete stud
kids.
in
He has
terms
4
of-
kids, and he's leading the charge in pickleball on the pro side and just crushing it. And when I was 28, I was playing Legend of Zelda or something. I don't know what I was doing, but I wasn't running the PPA tour.
when did he start? How old was he?
He's 24, and I think
No,
that's
he was younger. He was
really?
22.
He was 22?
Yeah, him and his dad.
He had a
Dirk.
vision?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And,
I
just met his dad,
it's
Dirk,
like
too.
he's like Andras. Him and his best friends from high school.
Yeah.
Are all just
Shout out
running.
Connor
So it was
Ogden, great
before
guy.
the
Rice,
pandemic.
Morgan.
So he saw the vision before even the spike.
He saw it.
PPA is the premier event that anyone in terms of pickleball fans or anyone who plays pickleball amateurly can go to and really feel oh wow, this is what it's all about, because you have now the pro side obviously, but you have the amateurs going on, you have the fun exhibitions.
I saw this dad walking with his son on the side courts, and he looked at his son and he goes, "How cool is this?"
Yeah,
And I was it was such a pure moment.
that's how I feel though, as a pro. I'm a pro pickleball player. This is what I do for a living, and this is the only place in the world that I can go to, and people are like, "Hey man, can I get a picture with you?"
You're just signing autographs.
It's ridiculous. It makes me feel so grateful every time when I'm why would this guy,
But yeah, so this tournament, I mean, there's some interesting storylines.
Yeah, especially on the pro side. So let's take a look at the results here. We got Annalie triple crowned again, which I thought personally, she mentioned something about how she was shedding tears before her women's singles final, and it was because she was in the position to triple crown again. But this girl's the #1 player in the world. She's done everything in the sport, and she still goes out there and feels like she has to work
How
harder
does she
than
stay
everyone.
motivated? It's so impressive.
I literally ask myself that every day. Not every day.
Well,
but
I
when
think
watch
I think
play.
it's her age. I think it's interesting to see the dichotomy between her and Ben.
Yeah.
Right. Ben, I think we're seeing a little
but-
less motivation, but his fire when he beat.
He was fiery this weekend.
Oh, he dropped down to his knees when he beat
Singles
Connor.
final, yeah.
He was so tired, and that's like Ben at his best. And then you see Ben at MLP when he's pulling out. Like, I love Ben. I'm a huge Ben Johnson fan. He's always been super gracious with us. But I want to see Ben like fired up, and maybe Ben needs to go take a month off or 2 months off and go travel in Thailand and be a 25-year-old kid.
It is weird,
wouldn't
right?
blame
Like
him.
these people, like especially Anna Leigh, like being 18, 19 years old.
Yeah,
like,
but Anna Lee's like she's so
but
hungry.
she's not going to college. She's not doing all this
Yeah.
other stuff. Like she's just playing pro pickleball, making millions of dollars, and having all these people know who she is. And each week, like she accomplishes what she needs to, and then she goes back and does it again. It's not like
She hasn't lost in a year in singles.
No.
No, that's wrong. I think you're wrong. You might be right, actually.
No, I think
That's crazy.
No, I think this tournament she has not lost a match in singles in a year. I'm pretty
Liddy,
sure.
can you confirm that for us?
Pretty sure.
I saw this one point where Ben Johns had like a sick point, and then they played this like Darth Vader music.
Yeah, they've
and
been
I was
doing
like,
that all
I
weekend.
got chills. I was like, oh, Ben Johns is the GOAT, dude. This is so cool.
I think that goes into like the production of the PPA. Like now you have the DJ there who like we even saw
It's
like
like
some,
wah wah wah.
yeah, someone missed a shot this weekend and they played like the little want 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 sound.
I didn't love that. Like a little weird to me. It's not like we're in like a home Atlanta Hawks game where the opposing team misses a free throw and they do that. This is like we're all family here. Didn't love that.
but it's still very impressive.
See, I disagree. I kind of like it. I think it kind of enhances the
WWF.
production. Yeah, it's like pickleball is becoming that sport that like people can go to and have drinks and like it's a total entertainment thing. And it started as a sport where people are just dinking for 1 hour and there's no excitement, and now it's like this super fun, highly produced,
I got a hot
entertaining
take.
game.
I got a hot take.
All right, let's hear it.
PPA should be the really beautifully produced, almost tennis-like event, the PPA Tour.
Okay.
MLP should be like Waste Management. MLP should be raw and rowdy like it used to be at Dreamland. Loud music, people heckling, free booze.
I want like beer on the court. I want like the players to get wet
Yes.
with beer.
MLP
Like-
should be smaller venues. And I think MLP was at its best when the side courts, you could sit on the rail. So you're there. I mean, at Daytona and Mesa, I'm on the rail a foot away from Ben Johns. I'm hearing Ben Johns talk about it. I'm talking to Ben.
If MLP doesn't do it, we're gonna do it.
Yes.
I think
Loud.
you're right. I do agree with that hot take, but I don't think people should be like throwing stuff on the courts, and that's.
I'm just saying there might be a little spray.
Couple
You know,
beers, couple.
But I do think it
they
should be
do
like
that
that
at NFL
Monday.
games. If the refs make a bad call, there's beers on the court. Like
It's different on grass though. But I do think you're right. I do think the rowdiness
PPA
and like
should be big and beautiful. MLP should be raw and rowdy. That's
Agreed,
my hot take.
agreed.
I have a hot take about. Are we going into MLP now? Or
Yeah,
are
let's do it. We can do
I have
it.
a hot take about MLP because it is kind of odd that there's these cities, but like the players don't actually live in the cities. You
Yeah.
know, so I have this hot take of I think that before every single event, each team should redraft. And-
I actually like it. It might be the cadence might be too,
Redraft what players?
Well,
There's
like
gonna
they
be
can
no,
figure out like the order, but like every single time it's like we figure out some order and then you just redraft.
Yeah, what if
and
it's based on the order from the previous tournament? I think the cadence might be maybe there's 2 seasons a year. I don't hate it because there's not enough.
why are you drafting? Because you want players from that city, or what?
No,
is
no, it
the-
has nothing to do with city. Just because the city doesn't really matter, right? So it's like why have these players like stuck to this city? Like it should.
I see. I think MLP needs to be like a Monday Night Football. For instance, we played Columbus MLP the other week. People loved CJ Klinger wasn't even playing. He was injured. People came out just to support CJ because it was his team, not even because he was
yeah, but
playing
he's from
there.
Columbus.
That's what I'm saying, though. Imagine the whole city of Columbus comes out. There's 4 people from Ohio or Columbus, and they're all cheering you on. It gets super rowdy.
There's
Like
4 people in the crowd. Is that what you're
no,
saying?
4 people on the team. People can get behind these players, and then all of a sudden it becomes like this local thing where it's like, dude, what's your favorite like sports team? It's like, yo, my local Columbus Sliders.
That's
but the thing is, the players aren't
cool
going
is
to move
that?
there. They're never going to play there. There's no venue.
need to live
why?
with it.
Why
They need to
not?
live there.
If the teams are paying enough money to these players,
Well,
maybe you get them to
eventually,
move there.
But like,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so MLP.
Shut up, Dane.
MLP is coming up this weekend in Austin, Texas. Kickoff party here at the Kitchen HQ, which is where we're filming this Thursday night. MLP Austin's going to be sick. I feel like the Texas Ranchers of all the MLP teams have done it right. I feel like their marketing's on point.
Yeah.
I feel like they I'd say them, Orlando, St. Louis. They're kind of maybe Dallas as well.
The Fives. I think the
The
Fives.
Fives,
Gary
Gary
does a
V.
good job.
They're kind of the blueprint. I think this is going to be the best MLP event to date. But let's talk a little bit more about the PPA. One thing I will say is I saw some on-court behavior. I'm not going to name any names. I didn't love it, and I'm fiery. Like, I like people even dropping some F-bombs I'm okay with, but when you're kicking the ball away from your opponent, when you're slamming the ball, when you just can't handle losing with a little bit of grace, I don't like it. And I think that the PPA needs to step in. Jason Aspis, UPA, I think there needs to be some suspensions. I really do. And I'm like all for, I just said I want pickleball to be rowdy.
Yeah.
But like, let's act like professionals. You're getting paid a lot of money out there. Leave the shenanigans to the amateurs.
So I agree with that. I do think there needs to be that professionalism, but from a viewer standpoint, don't you think it's very interesting for people to go watch like high emotion, high tension, high competition in person, and they're seeing these reactions? Again, I don't think it can be towards the other player in a negative way, but showing their frustration, I think, is okay to a certain degree.
There's a lot of kids trying to emulate these pros. And you go out there, and I'm seeing it on the junior courts. I'm seeing some of the juniors losing points and kicking the ball and shouting. Like, there's a fine line. I see your point. I don't totally disagree, but I think there's just certain players, again, I don't want to name names. I think the ones who are dialed into pro pickleball, if you go in the kitchen on Facebook, you'll see, I mean, there's a lot of people who are not loving some of the behavior. So
yeah, I think age demographic is a big thing in terms of like probably the older crowd's not going to love that, but you are right about the juniors. Like, I won a match in Mesa, Arizona, and when I won the match, I said so big, like I was like fired up.
Playing Zane Ford.
Yeah, I was playing Zane Ford. I don't know, it said so big, like I was super fired up. We just had a long match, and it's been like 2 months, and every time I walk through the PPA halls, I'll get a junior PPA kid walking by me and saying so big.
So big.
Yeah, no, literally, like these kids will come and be like, so big, and I'll be like, what the? Can we pull that clip up and me saying so big?
Go! So big!
Tristan, what do you think?
I think pickleball needs some emotion, some characters like Nick Kyrgios in tennis.
Yes.
It's good for tennis.
Yes.
A lot of publicity.
I love
Yes,
King
Tristan.
Ben
Kyrgios.
Totally
Shelton,
agree.
Kyrgios. I'm all for it.
So
Kick some
you-
balls, yell at some people.
All right.
What about the first pickleball fight?
Didn't that happen? Yeah, we had the guy kick the dude.
No,
in the
we
you're
need a
talking
pro
pro.
Pro.
Dude, imagine it was like this is a hot take here. Well, not a hot take, but I think this would be really interesting. Imagine PPA was like hockey. If the players start fighting, the refs don't stop it. They
That
just
should be
manage
MLP.
it.
I would love that.
There should be Royal Rumble.
imagine-
There should be, once they stop letting the we're all gonna be on our first event ever as a MLP team owner GM. Like, I've gotten kicked out of Little League games as a player and as a coach. When they stop allowing the GMs and the coaches standing up off the bench, that's when MLP got worse. I might get into a fight.
They should let the players use their paddles as swords, and they'll be like a
No,
sword.
that's come on,
Dude,
come on.
imagine you go to a match, you have Dylan Frazier and Christian Olsson, and they get into a heated exchange, and all of a sudden it gets physical. Imagine the refs manage it; they don't stop it
until one's knocked out.
I mean, like hockey, and then they're respectful afterwards. Obviously, it's not going to get to that point, but imagine how many people would come to a PPA event if that were the case?
Be great.
I mean, there are slap contests
Slap-
is a huge thing.
slap boxing.
UFC, you haven't seen slaps?
Dude, imagine they just slap the crap
Instead
out
of a
of
Oh.
instead of a dream breaker, just a slap
A
breaker.
slap
I
contest.
like that. I
We
like
need
that
a
a lot.
Anna Leigh Hayden Patrick fight on court.
Anna Leigh would whoop Hayden.
That would
Anna
go-
Leigh would,
that would go
crush
crazy.
him.
You think
Yeah.
so?
We talked about how Anna
All right,
Lee's
all right,
what,
I have a question.
34
I have a question.
Triple
I have a
Crowns?
question. There's a Royal Rumble
Okay.
with the top 30. Actually, take it out. Any pro pickleball player that's relevant. Royal Rumble. Who wins? On the men's side.
Hey, Jared, what's a Royal Rumble?
You don't know?
I have no idea what a Royal
Wow.
Rumble is.
You
Just
are
like a fight.
no. Oh my.
What's a
WWE.
Royal?
Oh my God.
You know what it
Blitty.
is?
Blitty's my guy.
I mean,
All right.
sort of.
So
I'm
in
not a big
WWF,
WWE guy, but
WWF, it started.
I've never even heard of
Royal
WWF.
Rumble. I think it's either 20 or 30 wrestlers. There's a clock, and they randomly draw, and the first two start. And every 5 minutes or maybe 2 minutes, another wrestler enters the ring until there's 20 to 30 wrestlers, and they're all brawling, and the last man standing wins.
I go AJ Kohler.
give me Deckel.
I would take Deckel Bar. Maybe
That's crazy.
Deckel
What
Bar.
about Rafa Hewitt?
No.
No.
I love Rafa, but no.
AJ Kohler, 100%.
AJ Kohler,
is the
100%.
thing. It's not
AJ
even
Kohler would
close.
probably do some dirty work, but I think Deckel Bar was in the Israeli military, dude. The guy's not
Guy's massive.
losing.
I think Deckel's a gentle giant. I think AJ Kohler would rip someone's face off like a silverback ape.
Yeah.
Jared, get out.
On the women's side,
Tyra.
Women's side.
I feel like Tina Pisnik might might F
She's
someone
smart.
up.
She's
I
smart.
feel like Etta Wright, Tyra.
Vivian Galazzi.
Etta Wright's so sweet.
Yeah,
no,
Viv
is
Etta
way
Wright's
too
not-
sweet.
yeah.
Oh, what
never
about who's the girl on Neckard that has a fiery side?
Kate Fahey.
Kate Fahey.
Yes.
No, Kate's too
Kate-
sweet.
she'd
She
be
just
an
will smack
absolute
herself in
dog
the
in a smack. What is it called? A Royal Rumble?
Yeah, just Kate Fahey was just.
Oh, what about Leia?
Leia's a good one. Leia might
great
rip
one.
someone's
I
face
might pick
off.
Leia
We
to
will have
survive. in
Leia
his-
on the podcast soon, by the way. I think we have some really interesting guests coming up.
Coming up this week, we got Dylan Frazier and Fed.
Yeah.
Dylan's going to be wearing the outfit that he wore in the Valera commercial. If you haven't
A
seen
tutu.
it, it's not a tutu.
Is he really?
Oh yeah, he's stuck. Can you pull that up? The shout out to Valera, Ryan Cohen, Austin native, great dude. And then we also have this one's going to get weird. It's going to be spicy. It's. You want to announce it?
Yeah, we're gonna have a security guard there. It's gonna be Leia Jansen and Travis Rettenmeyer. We're gonna have some hot takes.
I don't think Leia loves me. Sometimes she likes me, and sometimes I think she doesn't love me, and that's okay. I
See,
understand.
I don't think she doesn't like you. I just think she doesn't care about you.
I don't
Does
know.
that mean? Is that messed up?
No, but what I'm gonna tell her, like, it's gonna get spicy. She doesn't have to care. I respect that.
Yeah.
But you know,
Maybe
like,
she thinks you're cute.
she might think Dane's cute. I mean,
not the first.
like John Mayer lookalike. I
You
mean,
do look like John Mayer.
I'll tell you this much.
John Mayer, Cooper Flag, and I don't know.
Jack Black.
I'll tell you this much. If there was a zombie apocalypse, I'd probably pick Leia.
All right, so we got consensus: AJ Kohler and Leia.
All right. Let's move on. This is ridiculous.
It's getting weird.
Did you guys see that clip from the U.S. Open? The girl on match
Did
point
I see it? Yeah, we posted
body
it.
bagged.
Yeah.
yeah.
Her
Marianne
nasty Nelson. the other
Marianne
girl.
Paredes sends me this clip. And I actually was at a guys' weekend, so I didn't see it until after, I think, Memes posted it. And she, on match point of the gold medal match at the U.S. Open, nasty Nelson's this woman in the head.
What would you do if someone did that to you?
I would do anything.
I'd-
Right? It's
I
fine.
wouldn't. It's kind of like you have to be silent. You can't say much. You just got to be like.
Yeah, that's what you would do. What would you
pretty-
do? I might fight him.
I'd probably be more of a coward.
No,
Probably fight him.
I would just be like, damn, this guy just got me.
I'd probably. I might be like.
But
Are you-
why?
are you
why would
serious?
why
Zero
would you fight
chance.
it?
You would go nuts.
But that's risky.
you
Like,
would
he's taking a
lose
risk
your
trying to-
mind.
I might lose it, but I will say it was so diabolical. Like, and so the story goes, if you go to our Instagram, you can see it. I'm going to post it again, I think, soon, because we like to do that. But Marianne actually chimed in because she was getting some hate. And she took it with grace.
People did not like
People
her.
were like, you should never play pickleball again. Then the other half of the people were like, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. But she chimed in and she said the woman was talking smack the entire match. And she just had her moment. And she beamed her in the head to win the gold medal.
I loved how she just went out for like a paddle tattoo.
Yeah, acting like everything was normal.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be a fight.
The other girl was totally.
Billy, you pulled that one up?
You got it. Hit a celebration after too. Let's not forget about that.
Who had a
That's the worst part. The lady that hit her.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just glad we didn't have a.
Oh,
repeat.
no. She goes,
dance on her?
vamos. Vamos. Like,
I'm just glad we didn't have a repeat of that kick in the head.
that was crazy. I talked to the person who got kicked in the head, and I went out to Mexico the next week, and I went to that court, and I was supposed to interview the guy, and the guy it was right outside of Cancun, and the guy the guy who got kicked in the face and knocked out had so much hate mail because he
Why?
because he smacked the
because
guy's
he was the
paddle
guy
down.
who was
He slapped his
aggressive
paddle
at
down
first,
and
yeah.
dropped an F-bomb. The guy was so shook that he was like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Please do not post it again.
Makes sense.
So that was the craziest moment in pickleball history.
No, craziest moment in pickleball history is your soap sud story.
Oh, I
think you have to tell the story. It's
all right. There's this guy, Forrest. I'm looking at his name here, Forrest Engelman. Shout out to my Bay Area crew. There's a 4550 crew. Kevin Orphan, one of my best friends since I was a little kid. Putnam Daly. They invite me to play, and we go play. Crazy names, Kevin Orphan and Putnam. And we go in Forrest Engelman. And we go play in South San Francisco at the Bay Club, indoors, rainy day, really muggy out. And we're playing pickleball, and like midway through the second game, the court's really slippery, and there's like soap suds on the court. And we're like, what is going on? Like this, it must be like the weather or something in San Francisco. Keep playing. We literally can't run. Like we're all sliding around, and we're like, hey, let's switch courts. Maybe
It's all like slippery.
it's soap suds. It was like slippery. It was like
bubbles?
yeah, they're bubbles. And we're like, what is going on? This is like weird. So we switch courts. Same thing happens again. Soap suds everywhere. All of a sudden, we look at Forrest's legs, and there's foam all over his legs. And I shit you not, I'm like, dude, this guy is like a disease. Like something really bad's happened to this guy, and he was freaking out. He was like, oh my god, like what's going on with my skin? And we had to stop because we couldn't run on the court, and he had suds all over him.
What was it coming from?
So the story goes, he went home, and his wife took out the clothes before the rinse cycle, and she put them in the dryer, and they dried. And so the soap wasn't cleared out of his clothes.
Once he started sweating, it kind of...
When she started sweating, soap was all over the court. And so Kevin calls me last week, and he's like, dude, I have a hilarious story. I was at a party in San Francisco, and Forrest, this was a year ago, Forrest has been super insecure that he played with the founder of the kitchen, and he had soap suds all over his legs, and we had to end the sport. And he said one way that you can make it better is if you talk about it on the pod. And so here we are. Shout out Forrest Engelman. You're forgiven.
Oh, soapy little Forrest just playing pickleball. Dude, how do you not know you have soap coming off your body?
Can you imagine just not knowing what's going on?
Dude, I literally thought that like he was maybe gonna die, and so Forrest, man, like I love you, but just please, like, gotta do the rinse cycle.
Soapy legs on the court.
Got to do the rinse cycle, bro. It's essential.
Dude, crazy topic this week from kind of the pickleball news. Charles Barkley. He says, so after playing golf, he goes,
do you like Charles Barkley?
I love Charles Barkley.
I do.
I like Charles.
He's so funny.
I love him and Shaq's banter. I think they're great.
Well, let me change your opinion real quick.
Oh, God.
He says, I'm not stupid enough to try and play pickleball. I don't like playing with old people. That was his comment on pickleball.
Charles, Mr. Barkley, all due respect, I will choose a 75, I'll even go as high as 80-year-old woman.
I can find some 80-year-old
somewhere around the country. You guys play singles, best of 3. I will put $10,000 on the line. Mr. Barkley, do you accept?
Jared's also a 3-7, so I think it's
I'm not. I'm a 4-0 now. And I will find a 75 to 80-year-old woman, Charles. So I think he's a clown. I'm not a fan.
How much money are you willing
Who do you
to put
think
up?
would win,
$10,000.
Shaq or Charles in pickleball?
Shaq. So we got Shaquille O'Neal versus Charles Barkley in pickleball. I'm going to go with Shaq.
I got
You're
Charles.
not gonna,
Really?
Remember
Charles
when Tyler Hero said he was the best pickleball player in the world?
was he not?
Tyler Hero from the Miami Heat?
Never seen him play.
No.
I bet he's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll
Dude,
play
I bet
Tyler
he's
Hero for
terrible.
$10,000 too. I'll put Blitty. Blitty he won't even score a point.
All right, so a little reality check for Charles Barkley. The largest age group of pickleball players today, because I think like people when they think of pickleball, like old people played, the largest age group is 25 to 34. That's 16.7%. There was 1 million kids under 18 in 2020-24 who started playing pickleball. So it's
How about
clear.
the fact that Charles Barkley's 62 years old and he's saying it's an old?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, okay, Charles, you're a spring chicken.
He's a
just
spring chicken.
he's
Yeah,
a
don't talk
clown.
about Charles like that.
I don't like him.
Why don't you like Charles Barkley?
I don't like him. I'm an Atlanta Hawks fan growing up. Dominique Wilkins, Spud Webb. Wasn't a Charles Barkley guy, still not. And $10K on the line, Charles, if you want to take that bet. Anywhere you can do it here at the Kitchen HQ. I'll pick an 80-year-old woman.
I just think it's funny how he's like, I'd rather play golf, but have you seen videos of his golf game?
He's terrible,
It's
right?
pretty
at golf.
bad, yeah.
He's
terrible.
bad at golf.
Yeah.
I feel like it's harder for like someone told me like since I'm super tall, it'd be like hard to be good at golf. I think height can.
We should
affect
learn
that.
how to play golf.
I feel like you crush the ball.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that. Yo, other
How about
celebrity.
Roscoe looking exactly like Cooper Flagg?
He does.
You see Jimmy
Number one.
Miller's,
He's gonna be the number one pick in the NBA draft.
You see Jimmy Miller talking about that last week?
That you look at Cooper Flagg?
Dude, I've been told Cooper Flagg and John Isner I get at least once a week.
No,
Cooper
you're not.
Flagg
You're
for
Cooper
sure.
Flagg. And
I
John
get
Mayer,
John
Cooper
Isner
Flagg,
like
Ellen DeGeneres, and I've been
Jack
told.
Black, you're Jack Black.
I've been told that I look like American Chopper, some guy Joey from American Chopper. I've also been told Tim Tebow. I'm just gonna,
dude.
I'm gonna throw it out
You
there.
do not look like Tim Tebow.
I've been told that a couple
Dude,
times.
you do not look. That's like
I've been told that a couple times. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm just
those people are nice.
why? I'm better. I'm definitely better looking.
Yeah,
than
you
Tim-
are better
Yeah,
looking than
like
Tim Tebow.
let's all
Yo,
relax.
other celebrity pickleball news. Dane, hold your horses. Dua Lipa said so. Alessi Rose, who's like her opener, says we eat pasta and play pickleball. Apparently Dua Lipa's like obsessed with pickleball right now.
And Dane's obsessed with Dua Lipa.
Dane,
I'm
did you
obsessed
know
with Dua
this?
Lipa, but I didn't really know her stuff until I went to ACL last year.
Are you a
And
big Dua Lipa guy?
My girlfriend at the time was like, "Oh, you got to go." I was like, "Oh, come on!" And then I was just blown away for like 2 hours. I was like the most fired up person in the crowd. I think Dua Lipa's amazing.
Would you take
she's a
Dua
badass.
Lipa on a little pickleball date?
Yeah, hot take. I think pickleball is the best first date there is.
Nah,
I agree.
I disagree.
I mean, if Dane was like, "Hey, let's go on a date. Let's go play a little pickleball," he takes him to the headquarters. They play a little pickleball.
Well, it's different when you have your own head. Like we're in the
No, it
the
doesn't have to be at
HQ
the
right now.
headquarters. I mean, anyway,
That's
Okay,
because
okay,
it's
you're
a great,
taking Dua Lipa on a first date right now to play pickleball. How does it go? Give me the rundown.
So we get here,
Here, so you pick her up.
pick her up, or she meets me here, whatever, and then we chat, and then we're just kind of hitting dinks to each other, talking, learning
love
about
that.
each other, and it's really nice
Do
because
you have
it's
any
more-
drinks? You have it like
No drinks.
rain
Just-
storm.
No dinking drinks.
We can whatever if she but
Love
I
that.
think we're just kind of dinking and practicing, and then you're not kind of like just staring at each other from across like
some
a dinner
giggles.
table. Yeah, it's like, okay, then let's play some singles.
Does she have good technique? You think she's probably like?
Oh yeah,
I bet she's pretty good.
She
I mean,
can
she's
move.
a great dancer.
Yeah,
like
she's great. Yeah, very.
probably very
I think
athletic.
she
Yeah.
might beat you.
sophisticated.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I suck.
So you have your first MLP debut in terms of being a team owner this week.
Shout out Amir Delic and Brian Smiley. There's a couple other owners, but been friends with Amir for a while. Amir was, I think, top 60 in the world in tennis.
Very good tennis player.
Great guy.
Great body.
One of my favorite people in pickleball. Quite honestly, we're always sharing Harry Mack videos back and forth. But he reached out and said, "Hey," because I think they want to sell the team. Part of our goal is to eventually sell this team. And he reached out and said, "Hey, can we have the kitchen help sell the team?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "Well, why don't we come on as the GM and part owners, and let's build up the team. Let's go through a season. Let's get out a challenger. Let's win challenger, and then we'll figure it out. We'll bring on some sponsors." And so we've done that. Shout out Ion Weighted Vest Company. They're one of the sponsors of the Nashville Chefs. Shout out DAPS, a shoe brand that we're about to launch. Our first brand that we've launched actually from the kitchen ever. So they're our first sponsors. Really stoked about it. And so they said yes, and here we are. We have an amazing team. We have Eva Radkowski, Michelle Esquivel, OG Pickleball Dog. We got Anderson Scarpa and Marshall Brown. Our assistant GM is Caleb Hodder he was with the Frisco Pandas. Super knowledgeable guy, amazing guy. We got Dane as one of the GMs. We got Tristan as one of the GMs, and I'm stoked. This is our first MLP event. Dane's been grinding on the jerseys. We did a big logo contest. Shout out to Jordan J.
Yep.
For making it, I think, the best logo in the league. And so it's gonna be fun, man. We did the draft at Necker Island, and it's
Live.
Yeah, live draft.
While I was feeding them sushi.
Yeah, he was hand feeding
We can link
sushi
that
like a
somewhere.
baby
Yeah,
bird.
actually, I'll find that clip.
Like a baby bird.
Yeah.
And yeah, this, it's, I feel like we've been like part of this team now for like 5 years.
I feel like it's something we can like continue to discuss on this podcast too.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, you own an MLP team, and like that's something that like is gonna keep progressing, and we can keep discussing and have some of the people on the podcast. Like, I think that's gonna be really fun and interesting. And Dane, you're doing all the design for the team. Like, what can you like? You guys are taking an MLP team, and what can you do with it? Like, so many like some team owners have put their players on like center field at like the Chicago.
I
Bears
think
game.
why we're unique as owners of a team and as GMs of a team is just the sheer reach that we have as the kitchen.
Yeah.
And so while we're not going to be doing like as many local events in Nashville, and we're not maybe going to be bringing our players onto pit throughout the first pitch at a Major League
Private
Baseball
jets.
game, private jets, we're going to be just blowing them up across our ecosystem. We're going to be giving them all these like, they've already got weighted vests and shoe sponsors. And I think they're just going to get a unique opportunity to be put in front of the kitchen ecosystem that I think is pretty unique, especially in terms of MLP teams.
Yeah.
I love the branding too. It's really fun. It's the chefs, obviously the kitchen, and this is the head chef right here. And I just think there's so much fun, so much to play with.
Guys has a little mustache.
Got mustaches. We got kitchen aprons in the back.
Chef hats.
Yes, chef, and let them cook.
Yes,
and,
chef. Let him cook. I didn't even know
there's
these.
so much good branding behind it, and
This guy's like a creative genius.
Yeah. What a weirdo, dude.
it just melds like super well with or meshes super well with our branding. So
I think it's gonna be cool to not only like when we're trying to get people on, like not only just get pro pickleball players, but also like, obviously we've hung out with Drew Brees, we've hung out with Terrell Owens, and like so many
Jamie
people
Foxx,
who play
David Dobrik,
pickleball,
yeah.
celebrities, and like getting them on and leveraging the kitchen ecosystem to like give these people a chance to use it as a platform for other things. So we're gonna do a lot of fun, exciting things, and I think this is the start of something really cool. Oh, last thing I want to touch on, merch. Pickleballer. We see the first hat right there.
This is a sample.
On
Want to
that.
grab it?
Get it,
So
get
this
it.
is a sample, but I think this hat's
Let
gonna
me
be
put
pretty
it on
cool.
real quick.
Instead of Pickleballers, obviously it says Pickleballers.
All right, so here's our first piece of merch
This
right
is a
here.
t-
This
this is a
won't be
sample.
sold for a while, but I mean, how cool
You really
is this?
bend that brim, huh?
I like to bend the
It
brim.
looks good on you, Roscoe.
Pickleballer. So this is the brand. So the brand is Pickleballers, but our merch brand will be Pickleballer.
Yeah.
So we'll have T-shirts, hoodies, hats.
Everything. I think there's going to be some unique drops, but we got Dane obviously here, who's a creative design
Wizard.
freak and wizard. Yeah, and I think
We're just
there's
getting
gonna be a
started with the
lot of
merch.
good
I mean,
stuff.
like I'm starting to transition more into merch, and we've been kind of. I love our stuff. Our hats are really cool, but I'm super motivated to make the best merch in pickleball. Like this is actually a hat that's coming out in the next month or two. I love this thing, the pink and the green. I think Pickleballers gonna be really cool. I mean, it's just the beginning, so
yeah.
I'm excited to bring streetwear to pickleball.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff to do, and so we're shooting a few episodes this week. We got some pro pickleball players here for the MLP Austin. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching, you guys, and
Yeah.
we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks, guys.